Hi, my name is Paige Carpenter, and this is my PowerPoint on classroom management. So to start off, there are four philosophical beliefs that I believe with that came from our book, The Organized Teacher's Guide to Classroom Management. So the first one that I have to agree with was the theory from Lee and Marlene Cantor, and their theory was called assertive discipline. The definition from the book is that teachers interact with students in a calm and meaningful way, focusing on positive behavior while also providing a climate where students' needs are met. And then the goal is that students recognize the consequences of their actions, and the teacher's focus shift from reprimands of negative behavior toward positive praise. So I have to agree with this because I feel that in a classroom, it shouldn't be just focused on the learning, but you should also focus on each child's individual needs, and that they feel calm and comfortable in their classroom. So another belief is from Fred Jones, and his theory was positive classroom discipline. And the definition from the book was that the teacher establishes clear classroom structures, uses effective body language, and then uses the say, see, and do method, and uses incentive systems and provides efficient help to each student. And then the goal is that the teacher uses classroom structure, body language, and an organized incentive program while actively involving students to use responsibility and good behavior. So I think this is a good way because you want the students to be responsible for their own actions, but you also want that to promote good behavior. And if you, as a teacher, you have to be a role model for your students. So if you use the appropriate body language and you have structure in your classroom, this will help with that. Another belief that I agree with is from Jacob Koonin, and it was titled Improving Discipline Through Lesson Management. So the definition from the book was that instructional management directly affects student behavior. If a teacher plans and paces lessons well and is always prepared with the materials, he or she will have success delivering instruction and maintaining smooth transitions. And the goal for this is an organized instructional system of management is created, one that supports positive student behavior and fluid transitions with an awareness of what is going on in the classroom at all times. So as a teacher, I strongly agree with that. You have to be prepared each and every day. Not even if it's just your lesson plans, but yourself emotionally and mentally, you have to be prepared for what the day brings. And I feel it's important that you pass this on to your students because they have to be prepared as well. Otherwise, they're not learning as much. And then another belief is from Marvin Marshall, and his is discipline through raising responsibility. So again, this correlates because it is important that each student takes the responsibility of their own actions and their own work. So the goal or the definition is that students benefit from adopting and using three principles in their daily lives, and they are positivity, choice, and reflection. And then the goal is that the students demonstrate more responsible classroom behavior without the use of extrinsic rewards. And later on in this PowerPoint, I will talk that I don't believe in individual rewards for each student because that just makes them feel full of themselves, and it also does not help with the other students seeing that they are getting rewarded and that the other students may not. So I feel that each student is responsible for their own behavior, but they should not be rewarded individually. So when I am a future teacher, for my classroom rules, I'm going to have them child-centered. So probably the first day of school, I'm going to have students choose 5 rules that they want to abide by. Of course, with the help of me, but then each student is going to agree on these, and then they will know, and I'm going to have them posted in the room so that they see these rules every day so that they know what is expected of them and they know how they should be acting. And then each student will have their own sort of punishment because I don't believe that each student should be punished for something that one student might have done. So we will get to that when the time comes. Rewards and incentives, like I said earlier, I don't believe in individual rewards for each student. So if there were rewards in my classroom, it would be as a class. So an example would be if the students did everything they were supposed to, I would tell the whole class that they will receive 5 extra minutes of recess or a pizza party, um, something that the whole class can benefit from and not just one student individually. And then it has to be something that motivates the class to be on their best behavior. So I would find out what most of the class enjoys doing or is interested in, and then I will base those incentives / rewards on that. When it comes to misbehavior in my classroom, I believe in the 3 warning method. This is what I used when I was in elementary, or my teachers used when I was in elementary school, and it's also what some of my cooperating teachers from my field experience placements use. So the first warning is verbal, and I do not believe in punishing a student in front of the whole class. So I would kindly just nudge a student in the middle of work time or something so the whole class doesn't see, and just give them their first warning. And then the second warning was, I believe that students, sometimes they misbehave because they're frustrated and so they need a break from the classroom or what's going on in the class. So I will just have them step out of the classroom and just take their time and take a couple deep breaths and think about what they were doing that they thought was wrong. And then if it comes down to it, there's a third warning, and that is when I believe that the parent should be contacted, because it might be something that's happening at home, and the parents need to be involved as well. My communication plan with parents. So when I was in elementary school and also in some of my field placements, is that each student has their own planner, and after each day, the teacher will come around and write a little note and sign the student's planner, and then it is the parent's responsibility each night to sign the planner as well, with comments back to that teacher or their own comments that they want to leave for the teacher. I also will ask that each parent gives me their email at the beginning of the year, just so that I can contact them in a fast and orderly manner. There's also conferences, which I'm sure every school has, that I feel this is where you can get your one-on-one time with each parent and you can discuss that child. And then if it comes down to it where I feel it's a problem with the whole class, I will send home letters with all the students to give to their parents so that all the parents are aware of the situation. Social skills and routines the first day. So as a teacher, I feel it is important that students feel comfortable that they're in the classroom. So I think I'm going to let the students choose where they want to sit the first day, and then I will act upon that afterwards, after I see if some students need to be separated or if these students should be together, and so on. I feel it is important to post the schedule each day, whether it's on a whiteboard or in little pockets, so that students know what is happening throughout the day. I'm a person that likes to have a plan and it's set in stone. But then also throughout the day, I think it's important that the students have their own choice of what they want to do. So of course I'll give them some options and then they can choose upon that. But it is important that they have choice and it's not just strict instruction from the teacher. And then for social skills, I feel it's important to get to know each student individually. So at the beginning of the year, I feel it is important to have a lot of icebreakers the first couple of days so that we get to know each student on a one-to-one basis. So we get to know their names, what they enjoy doing, and so on. Language is a form of management. So I feel it's important to be friendly and calm because this invites your students in the classroom and makes them feel comfortable and safe and that they can trust you and talk to you. And then being direct and stern when the time is needed so that the students know that you mean business and that they need to listen and understand what you are trying to get across to them. And in one of my classes, it was actually a special ed class, but she mentioned for every negative comment or something you feel is negative about a student, you need to back it up with 5 positives. So this will be helpful for parents when you're trying to explain to them something negatively that the student has done. But you also need to inform them that that student's still a great student and that they do lots of things well. They just need to work on one certain thing. And then when it comes to an inclusive classroom, this is when the teacher and the students work together to create a comfortable, safe environment so that not only the students feel comfortable, but the teacher does as well. And then I feel it is important that everyone is supported in their actions, and they're free to express their feelings, views, and concerns. So in my field placement, they have something called the Wall of Happiness. So they think of something that they like about themselves, and they can post it on a Post-it note and then post it on this Wall of Happiness. And then also in another field placement, like once a week, each student has a pack of Post-its, and they are allowed to write a comment or a compliment to a fellow student. And this way, it just helps students feel good about themselves and to know that they are welcome in the classroom and that they mean something, not only to their peers, but to themselves as well. So that is the end of my PowerPoint, and that is my views on classroom management, as well as misbehaviors and ways to cope with that, and also how to reward students, not individually, but as a class.